The Inspired Disorder podcast is brought to you by Ethical Deal. Ethical Deal is a great way to help you save money and be green at the same time. With savings of up to 70% on products and services in your area, signing up at Ethical Deal is as easy as 1, 2, 3. To sign up to receive these great deals, please go to the link inspiredreco.com/ethicalidp. That link one more time is inspiredre.co/ethicalidp. Do it. Save money. Help the environment. Help this podcast. Let's get it going. Peace. And for all the UFC fans, you can help the podcast out by shopping at the UFC store by going to the link inspiredreco.com/UFCIDP. That link one more time is inspiredre.co/UFCIDP. Buy whatever the hell you want at the UFC store, and we'll get a cutback. Because the people at the UFC give a shit about this show, and we give a shit about them. Because we know that you give a shit about us. So let's all give a shit and get this show started.
And so begins another episode of the Inspired Disorder podcast. With our hosts, Ray Taylor and Keith Spurlock. Disorder starts now.
Yo! Insporter Desire. Yes! Inspired Disorder podcast.
Starting strong.
Starting strong. We're going to finish even stronger. And our guest tonight, the great, the wonderful, the amazing, the Keith Spurlock 1 to the Naughty Show, Vicky Pezza.
Hello. For a minute, I thought it was a different, better guest. The way that intro went,
Yeah.
I was like, "Ooh, who's coming on?"
Yeah.
Oh,
I
it's
forgot
just me.
who was anyway. But so how
Just
you
build it up.
yeah, build it up? I'm going to sell the shit out of this thing before it starts, or while it starts. It's already starting. So how you doing tonight, Vicky?
Oh my God! All right, can I just tackle
Let's
the big
settle
thing?
in.
Let me just get it out right at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Monday was the greatest night of my life. That was immediately turned into the worst night of my life. And it was the Naughty Roast that we recorded Monday. Because guess what? It didn't fucking record, guys. It did record. So you'll be seeing it this Monday because we'll be reenacting it after all of us have heard each other's jokes, but you guys and the whole fucking world haven't heard any of them because it didn't work. So that's been my big meltdown of the week. There's a meltdown of the week every week.
Yeah.
That was my meltdown this week.
It was crazy. I know I was trying to watch. I've been such a fucking horrible fan of the show, missing all of these live shows, especially the one that got pulled down. The T was on last week, and he was talking about the episode you guys had that got taken down.
Oh my God.
That was,
yeah. I knew we were going to get booted, but Jesus.
I want to see the pictures you took, Vicky.
Yeah.
I know you were taking pictures right beside her right before it cut out. I want the pictures posted.
Keith, they are so good. They are so good. I don't know what to do with it. Like there's so many pictures of this chick in my phone right now, and I'm the only one that has them. And I'm like, at first I'm like, will I get kicked off Twitter? I wouldn't tweet them from my personal account, but like from the show's account, like, will I get kicked off?
No, I know
but then
exactly
I'm
what
these girls' tweets. And they tweet.
All the porn stars tweet their naked asses all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, here I go.
Right.
Fucking saying
Like,
absolutely.
they're not getting kicked off. I think Instagramming it might be a problem, and I think putting it on Tumblr might be a problem, but I don't know.
Here's
so
what you
I've just
do.
been hoarding them. I don't know what to do with them.
Here's what you do. You got a bunch of pictures. You want to send them out. People will know. You could send this out from your account if you wanted to. Put all those pictures in a zip file. All right. And then you use the service Gumroad, and you can even charge. You can make it like pay what you want kind of thing, and then you can put it up on Gumroad. It's like you upload whatever digital media you want, and then you get a link and you share it on Twitter or Facebook, and you can sell shit that way. So you could throw them in a zip file, upload it to Gumroad, and then put like 0+ or 0 if you want to just give it away. 0+ is kind of like a pay what you want. And
isn't that digital pimping?
No, it's not digital pimping, Keith. The person has already been pimped. This is the pimping afterthought.
The pimping afterthought.
Yeah.
The pimping exists. We have evidence of it.
Yeah.
How do I share it with the masses?
Yeah. So, and if you tweet that out, it's like, here, you could even charge for it if you want to make money. Same thing. I know you guys were looking to put out the video. Is like you were able to record it, even though it's pulled down.
That whole video is intact.
So,
of course, hilarious, right? The way things work out.
Of course, yeah. The one. Well, you know what? You might be able. You could do the same thing with that video if you wanted to, because I know you were talking about, or the T was talking about, like possibly putting it up for sale or something like that somewhere. You could use Gumroad for that too. Anyway, I'm just saying you can make some money for the Naughty Show. You could sell those as like that'd be a first. Too hot for you stream. The too hot for you stream, like like those late night DVD infomercials where it was like too hot for the Jerry Springer like outtakes. Do the same thing, but for the Naughty Show. Totally.
Oh my God, too hot for you stream collection.
Yeah.
We'd probably have at least one or two by now.
Yeah.
And then we could start doing them deliberately.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's like, how long do you guys want to go? You start planning how long you want to go live before you get taken down.
Oh, that's brilliant. So still stream it live, like as if like,
yeah, it's like, God
we're
damn
gonna
it.
roll the dice, people, and then like it cuts off at the best moment.
Just cut it off like right before, to where it's like you don't know if you saw a tit. It's like an elbow, be close up of like an elbow. You're like, holy shit, and then it cuts off, and everybody's like, oh my God, they did it again. That way you don't piss off Ustream, because you don't want to get kicked off Ustream.
Guys, there's a picture from that night that I swear to God, no one will ever see. No one will ever see. But it's a picture Sam took where Ashley Fires, it's like, so it's from his chair looking down where her and I are sitting. And it's like Ashley Fires is completely bent over the chair. It's all just ass and pussy, full on. Like there's no other way to describe it. Yeah. But then you see me in the foreground, like looking like I'm trying to lean out of the picture, just looking at Sam like I look horrified or something. And he's like, I'm gonna send this to your mom, and I'm like, I don't want to see that picture anywhere on the internet. Are you kidding? You already Google me and like it's just naked women. Like, please don't. Please let's not put this out there.
Well, you kind of put yourself in alignment with the naked women.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just you accidentally around naked women and pictures being taken. That just
and all night long too. They're like, like why do you get the best seat? Like why don't we switch? Like the whole fucking night. It's like let's switch seats, and it's like nope. I'm gonna sit right here. I think it's hilarious because I was seeing everything.
Yeah.
But. I don't know if I wanted to be like, here's the two of us. What's up? Ass crack, my face. Hi, Mom. I don't know.
Well, those are the guests you book on the Naughty Show, right? Those are the guests you book on the Naughty Show. Sam always tries to get comedians on, and you're the one getting all the porn stars and things, right?
That's right. Oh, as long as that's clear. Yes.
Yeah.
Sam's just trying to make this like, a straight up podcast, and I'm just like, we need more porn, people.
Yeah.
Let's pile it in. Oh man, it's a great. I like the mix right now because I like to keep that element. I really do because it's interesting.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting when like it's spaced out, and every week you don't know what kind of guest you're gonna get, but the cast is pretty cool. That guy Gareth, man, he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
I can't believe he's on every week now.
So
is he? Awesome.
Was he like a supposed to be planned regular on the show, or from the get-go when you moved over?
I mean, for a while it was like, he was a recurring guest, for a while. And we really liked him. And when we were doing the Podfest, that was the first where it was like, well, do you think he would do this every week because he was away in New York for months, but he came back. So it's like, well, you think he'd do it? And he said, yeah, as long as he's in town, like he's down to do it. So it's like, all right, want to just be on it every week?
Yeah. Well, he throws out awesome.
He
throws out awesome one-liners like the Teeb. Like it's hilarious watching that fucking show.
I think they're perfect. Those two guys. They're so funny, and quick, and they just come out. They bust out all this shit, and I feel like all the roles of the people are like a little more. It's getting a little more defined. Like we're working together more, and you know what I mean. It's just like it's changed. I mean, the show's changed a lot. I think from the first year at least.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I don't know. It's really crazy. Well, what do you guys? I'll be honest. I was afraid there would be a lot of backlash leaving DeathSquad.tv, that website.
Yeah.
I think it comes off. I got a scathing email from a listener.
Sorry about that.
That you would not believe. And I was very offended, fellas. How dare you?
That's horrible.
I do show. What do you want?
Yeah, no shit. But so was that the only backlash you got? Was that one email?
There was, people wanted answers on Twitter, but it was nowhere near what I expected. I just expected it to be like a stream of hate where it's like, oh God, everyone that likes me now is going to hate me like in a day. And, that didn't happen. I don't know why I thought it would. I think I've talked about that with you before, Ray. Like I always assume like everything, all the reactions are going to be negative for some reason.
Such the optimist. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm always like, oh, well, this is going to go terribly. But it's all good. It's just weird because here it's just like, you're living your life and you see all these people all the time, and it's not as big of a deal as it seems, but like watching it when this is like the only time you're watching us together, it's like, oh, they must be mad at Brian. It's like, no, I just saw him. Like, actually, it was fine. Nothing.
And you're
nothing
not
what it seems like.
You're not the first show. Like all of the shows at some point have left. I mean, not all of them. He has shows going currently, but it's there's a lot of shows have left for a lot of reasons. But there's never been. I don't think there's ever been somebody that left the show that had issues that I know of, anyway.
Yeah, the first Triple X Squad.
Oh well, okay. Aside from that one,
that was a bad one.
That was
like,
okay.
That would be like if we like left, but we called it like Death Squad's Naughty Show. Like, wait a minute, you can't take that squad. Can we keep that squad, please? Yeah. That's ours.
I like the new show though, Vicky, but it's just a different feel not being in the crazy Death Squad studio.
Yeah.
Like there was an ambiance to that studio that, I don't know, it just made it kind of trippy and everything with all the lights and everything.
Yeah. It went from like an artist's work at home office to just a cubicle. No, but not, with a fancy cubicle. So it's like, it was definitely the insanity of Death Squad Studios is kind of, it's especially for a lot of the people that watch. I'm sure most of your audience doesn't watch, but
right. It's I was wondering how that was even going to work. Like I wasn't anticipating there being video at first. Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to basically be like we record at this studio audio and then we chop it up and we release it like an hour, like a pre-produced, almost, like what Ari would do or a lot of the podcasts do. So I was surprised we could even do the video.
And you're talking about at Death Squad or at the Joint Studios?
Oh, at the Joint Studios. Okay. Like Death Squad, I completely knew in and out before I set foot in there. Like I knew the deal, But at the Joint Studios, the thing that's crazy is like the room that you're seeing in the feed, like where we're recording the podcast, is like a small room in a huge warehouse. So there's actually like a big, there's going to be a whole nother room that's like a sound stage like it's so much crazier than what it looks like right now. Like they're basically like building a studio around what we're doing. So we're the first show in there. It's like we're the test run for these people.
Yeah.
So we're going to be able to do so much more stuff in there, but like the growing pains of it are, you know, it sucks right now. I don't know what else to say. Like, it's a bummer. And I'm not saying that the studio sucks, because the studio is amazing and everyone's been fucking awesome there.
Yeah.
It's just they're running it basically, like, they don't know how to solve these problems until they run into them, and the only way they're running into them is when we're there.
Yeah.
And it's a real fucking bummer, because we've lost two things that are like pretty fucking irreplaceable.
Well,
so like we redo the roast, but we can't make Ron Azizi puke again.
Yeah,
that will never happen.
Well, you can, but it'd be hard to convince him to do that again. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like now he knows. Now he knows where it's gonna go. He'll come prepared.
Just from the start. Yeah. It's I mean that you're having, I mean, it's a new studio by new guys. I don't know if they've done podcasts before, but you know, every podcast starts out with issues and problems. But it's like you have a mature show going into a new studio, so it's like you're having the early podcasting problems when you're already used to the flow of how things go. And but that's how it works, man. There's so many different variables working with stupid fucking technology that you don't know how to fix problems until they come up. But did you do because I know Sam had talked about that second room doing like broadcasting a naughty show or doing special things there. Was that where you did the Santa Claus in that new room?
No, we did it right in the room we normally do it. And right off the bat, I knew there was an issue because of Twitter.
Yeah.
So right when we started, and here's what was weird too, because that room's smaller, they had everyone else that was either just a viewer or the roasters that were, as they were going to get called up, they had them in like a waiting area outside the studio where it was set up amazing. It was like a Christmas tree and a bar, and like they're watching the stream, and there's a camera out there so they could cut to the camera of everyone else.
That's cool.
So it's like we walked in like, oh my God, this is going to be phenomenal. And right off the bat, it's like, all right, there's a problem with the feed. And I don't want to say it out loud because the recording's still happening, and I didn't want to capture like, oh, we're having problems.
Yeah.
So I texted Gino, because I figured he's in the room. He can slip out. No one will notice. Like, just slip out real quick and say something to in the control room. But I think they thought it was just a Ustream problem, but it corrupted everything. So we have about 40 minutes recorded out of 90. Mm-hmm. But the whole beginning's gone, the whole end's gone. But we got a few people, and anyone that can't make it Monday that we already got, because the video is lost. So that's just over with. So we're going to redo the video tomorrow at 7, redo the roast with anyone that can do it. And anyone that can't come back, if I have their audio, I'm going to tack it on the end, so that at least you can hear the audio. It'll be like a little, bonus if you listen. Like you'll get what you missed.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Let's see how this all works out.
So the audio version was totally saved. Are you releasing that? On iTunes
well, it was only partially saved.
Oh, okay.
So it just starts like it's just like mid-conversation, and it cuts off 2 or 3 people. I don't want to give anything away.
Okay. Yeah.
It was really good. That's what sucks. Like, all right, it was really funny. And we toyed, like, at first it was just like everyone felt like, well, you know what? The magic's gone. We can't recreate it. Fuck it, it's gone. And I was the one that was like, yeah, that's unacceptable. I don't know if you realize this.
Yeah.
It's episode 100, and people are anticipating episode 100, and they're anticipating a fucking roast. And I know I would be if I was just like, if I just liked the show. And when I did like the show, that was like when I just watched it or listened, that was the one episode I fucking watched a few times, because it didn't get old to me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It was awesome. I remember. I mean, that's the one thing I was going to say earlier too. Is you would have gotten a lot more backlash moving to this new studio if they didn't do video. because
yeah.
there's a lot of, I try with a lot of the Death Squad shows, I watch pretty much everything. I don't really, every once in a while I'll listen to the audio, but it's usually video, and that's another reason why the Death Squad studios are so good, because it's like visually stuff going on, but even still, it's like I love the video. So if I had to go, especially with your show, that's you don't know what's gonna happen. Like there's chicks that do crazy things, and you don't always get pulled down from Ustream, but it's just like super, like you get that, oh my god, because when you're listening you can't tell that what the naked chick looks like.
Right.
So I think if you didn't have video going into this new studio, that would have been a big problem for listeners. But it's growing pains. Your 100th episode, it was their like 6th episode at the studio, so who knows?
Right. Exactly. That's exactly right.
So
that's exactly right. And every time we show up, it's like newer, crazier equipment, and like it's crazy because you're not even seeing the rest of this build. Like if you could have seen what we walked into, like an empty warehouse, and now it's like fully furnished and painted offices. Like everything's beautiful. Like my husband Lenny he's an electrician. Like he did electric work for them. He put up like they have like a makeup room where you can get ready, and it's the big round bulbs and mirrors, and
wow.
It's so fucking crazy in there. They have a shower, they have a washer and dryer. Like they're ready for anything except recording,
for video.
Apparently.
Yeah, you need like.
Just kidding, Joint Studios. Shout out Joint Studios. Love you guys. I just need to get this off my chest to someone that will understand.
You should do like a behind the scenes video tour of the new studio. That'd be cool.
I'm gonna write that down.
Okay. I
like that.
There we go. Boom.
I'm gonna dedicate that to IDC.
There we go.
Yeah. I think it'll if people saw it, I think that they would understand a little more, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's what this place is. Like, it's not just a room with bare walls.
Way to go, Ray.
Yeah. I contributed. It's funny, like last time you were on, it's just like, oh, what about this idea? What about this idea? It's just like an idea explosion. I don't know if any good ideas came out of it, but it's always, oh, what if?
Hey, Ray, I'm telling you, this podcast has inspired a lot of good ideas.
Okay, good. Good.
Well, I told you that I wanted to start trying to do stand-up on this podcast before I ever tried it.
Oh, and so we sell people on.
And I just did my third show, and it went great.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Oh my God, so that's so crazy because it's your third show, but it's your fourth
time
set.
Up. Yeah.
Wow.
And I did the most, another 10-minute, and it was mostly new stuff. So I've got probably, I've done 40 minutes of material, but I've really got about, maybe 10 minutes of good stuff. But
I think it's awesome, man.
It went great. Like everyone loved it. I got nothing but good feedback. The room was packed. We had the bar owner said we had 100+ in there.
Nice. It sounded like there was a lot more people.
And and it was crazy, like the crosstalk, and everyone was just being loud and drunk, and
yeah.
I just fought through it. And I was more nervous for this show than any of the other shows, partially because there was a little Death Squad Ohio crew that came here. Izzy Rock. Izzy Rock and Jason, No Susquehanna, and Clever Wes, Drew Sample, Clever Wes's brother, and JW all came up.
Wow, dude, that's awesome.
Oh, nice.
So, they all drove like from, the closest person was an hour away. Izzy was almost 2 hours away. Jason actually drove from Columbus through where I live an hour north to pick up JW and bring him back for the show.
That's insane.
Oh my God. Man. That's so fucking cool.
Yeah, no pressure. No pressure at all.
Yeah.
How long did you drive again? Oh shit. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's why I was shitting my pants the whole time. The
Yeah.
whole time I was so nervous, and it was funny because I was like looking at my notes, but my notes are literally 3 sentence or 3 word summaries of the bits,
Yeah.
and I had 4 bits, so
Oh my
I only read
God.
12 words, but I read it for about an hour,
Yeah.
pacing back and forth.
That's cool.
But
That's
it went great.
hilarious.
It went great. My opening bit killed. But I sent you the link in your DM, Vicky, so you can take a look after we're done with this or whatever. But
Yay.
it went really good. I was happy. There were 4 other comedians there, so we did 5 comics for $5,
Nice. That's cool.
Nice.
and all the other guys have been doing it for like multiple years, and they all gave they all said I did a really good job, and they were like, I can't believe this is your 3rd show. I'm like, yeah, I'm still shitting my pants. Like, I was still having a nervous breakdown after the show for some reason.
Oh, because you can't. I mean, like, I just can't shake it. Like, once I find that I'm more nervous before and after than during. Because
Yeah,
during,
no,
I'm just somewhere else.
Once I grabbed the mic, I maybe like in the video you can tell I'm a little jumpy for the first 5 seconds, but it was pretty much once I grabbed the mic, all the nerves went away. And I had people yelling out shit in the crowd and stuff like that I had to deal with, and there's, like I said, in the video you can hear a lot of crosstalk, and there people were like, the bartenders are like grabbing bottles from the table but throwing them in the trash can.
Yeah.
Like during the middle of the show in like the second row, they're just grabbing the bottles and like you might as well just like breaking glass bottles while I'm trying to talk, like mid punchline.
Unbelievable.
And
Unbelievable.
I just kept fighting through. It's a pool hall. It's not a comedy club.
Yeah. So
And there's people legitimately playing pool during.
they're probably pissed at you, going, "Why is this guy telling me jokes while I'm trying to fucking shoot 9-ball?"
No, I thought it was hilarious. There was a table full of black guys, and I come from a very white town, and but they were all being real loud for the first comic, like just talking and like yelling to each other. And I was standing behind them, and I was getting real nervous. Like, this is gonna fuck me up.
Right.
Like, if they do this for me, I am fucked. And luckily, like, I started out with a dick joke, and I was talking about how high I was during the joke, and
Nice.
so dick and weed jokes, they're universal. They worked. Like like I said, I did real well. I got off stage, and they were all like, "Man, you did great. You were the best tonight." Like, even on their way out, like at the end of the night, they were like, "Man, you did the best." I was like, which was so flattering because these other comics were really good. Like, a lot of these other guys have been doing it for a while, and I was envious of them after I saw their set. But like, certain one of them, they weren't really grabbing a hold of the crowd, and I did the shortest set too. So I knew right when I started to fade just to get off.
Right. I know
didn't-
exactly what you mean.
I didn't want to flounder for another 5 minutes or something for, just trying to, get one last laugh.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, it went great. Like, and this all came from this show. So, the Inspired Disorder podcast
Oh man, we're
inspires good ideas.
yeah. It's a fucking disorder, let me tell you. Well, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I know you. So, are you planning on just trying to write new material for every show, or are you going to start? When do you think you're going to start?
The only reason I've been doing that is because I've been doing my sets at the same place every 2 months, and I feel like I'm bringing a lot of my close friends there to a lot of the shows.
Yeah.
So I don't want to tell the same joke, even if it's polished a little better.
Yeah.
And I don't always say that. Like, I pulled one joke out of my first bit,
Yeah.
and I put it in this bit.
Yeah.
This last one
Right.
I did, and I polished it a little. I don't want to just take the last thing I said to them and say it again, but say it better. I want to give them, and like I said, because of that, my opening bit, I got an opening 5 minutes that, with a little bit of polishing could really kill, but I got a lot of good laughs out of it. So,
Right.
Yeah.
and I wouldn't have got that. And plus, because it's like every 2 months that I've been going on, I have time. Like, if I don't at least come up with 5 new minutes in 2 months, I should be ashamed of my damn self.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. Yeah, you could just build up like a catalog of jokes, and then when you start getting more stage time, you can start refining them more and all that,
Exactly. And that's why, I mean, even though, I asked him some comedy advice, and his first advice was to kill myself.
I listened. I listened to that, and I was like, wow. What honest advice.
At least he told him how. Yeah.
And then I told him
that's the worst advice ever. Yeah, no, sorry.
YouTube, and he's like, and don't do that.
Yeah. Don't become a comic, and don't fucking release your videos on YouTube.
Doing both.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of neat that I'm doing it. Like, I'm kind of doing it as, like, I don't know, eventually you could put it all together and it could just be like a short documentary at some point, like the progression of a comic.
Yeah, when they do a documentary of this show, we can use that as B-roll. It's like, this is what was created from this podcast. Oh, and he was a comedian too.
Yeah, that's and I can always pull them down. It's like I don't have to keep them up.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're putting it up. It's not like camera phones.
Yeah, I'm not. Other people aren't putting it up. I'm posting it myself.
Yeah.
Right, so you have control. You have control over it. I personally have never put anything up yet because I do have that same thought as Teeb. Like, I don't want to let it out there yet because I just don't. I don't know. Like, I'm always afraid. Like, it's just not good enough yet or something. That's another thing that was so devastating about Monday is that would have really been the first, set, even though I'm reading it and I'm sitting down, it would have been the only material of mine ever released so far.
Yeah.
Ever. And it was, honestly, I think those jokes I wrote geared towards these people we know were funnier than anything I've written so far, my stand-up. And I don't know what that says about me. And I don't know if that's really a good thing, but it's the truth. I mean, I've been doing I'm not trying to make it like I suck. It's not that bad. Like, it's not as bad as I'm depicting it. But I'd always gotten like a really good response. There was never a time where I was like, oh my God, that fucking sucked. Like, I never had a bad experience yet, but I never felt as good as I felt Monday because I came out of nowhere and fucking, it was like genuine laughs from, it wasn't an audience. It was the people on the show, it was like other comedians. And it's like, oh my God, I surpassed their expectations, And now it's fucking gone, fellas. It's gone.
Listening.
We'll be back.
I get why you don't want to put your stuff up because you're out there swimming in a sea of sharks. You're
Yes.
You're hanging out with the best of the best, and I'm in bumfuck Egypt where there's no one around me, so I post this shit. Like that makes me the funniest motherfucker around here.
Yeah.
Basically, it's almost like there is a scene here. Like, and even what you're describing, it's like, okay, like the show you're describing, because in some ways it's beneficial and in some ways it's not. Yes, there's distractions because it's not a club. You know what I mean? So it's not the ideal venue, but it's a venue that you can get, and there might be other things going on where I'll tell you right now, a show like that in LA, you would have a very supportive audience. Everyone would be quiet. Like all the shit you hear about with like hecklers and stuff, that's always like at, the Laugh Factory or like a big thing, not a small room where people would go to open mic or just do small free booked shows. You know what I mean? But the flip side is you had 100+ people there. And on a good day in a little room, you might get 20 people where it's like all comics trying to do their set, which would be like 3 minutes. So there's a lot of you know what I mean? Like there's some good and
But I'm also
some bad.
I also play to a loaded crowd though. I mean,
A
I
lot
probably
of
brought 20
cocaine
plus
and
people
marijuana.
myself.
They're loaded.
Right.
Well,
And all your friends, it's like your friends there want to come out because this isn't like something that's on the table daily. Like some nights it's like like all right, if we have like a little show at we used to do shows at this place called M Bar, and like we had we'll have a show on Thursday, and then we're competing with like the whatever year anniversary of Tiger Lily, and they get like Patton Oswalt and Blaine Capatch and like just fucking Marin, and it's like, well, who's going to come to our thing if their thing is free too? Like, they're giving that away. How are we supposed to get people in this room? Like, you're competing with everyone all the time. There's a million shows going on. So it's like,
yeah,
like
we're the only show in town.
right, like my friends that are like disconnected with this, like not to say my real life friends, but my friends that aren't just predisposed to be at that venue or hanging out anyway, it's like hard as fuck to get them to come out for anything.
Yeah.
Like the Naughty Show live, I'm starting to drag my friends into that, and it has nothing to do with me. It's all about like, oh, fleshlights, oh, porn stars, oh, speed weed, like that's something different than what you would see every day. So that's my best bet right now of getting my friends out, is like, come to the Comedy Store main room. It's fucking awesome. It's totally different than anything else. But like my, 10-minute set at a pizzeria in Simi Valley, no one gives a fuck. Like, I can't get anybody to go. Like, I make my husband come like to everything, but I'm not doing like a lot of people do bringer shows when they first start out, which is like you're required to get 5 or so people in the door if you perform, and I just don't really sign up for that because I don't think I can deliver it. Like, I don't know how my whole life is just asking for favors at this point. It's so bad. It's just I'm constantly asking for favors of people, like, for free. Like, that's why most of my day. Why would anyone help?
Yeah. And it's the worst people to, like, if you do anything creative, comedy, music, art. Music might be a little bit easier. It's like the hardest people to sell that to is your friends. Because they're like, yeah, we know. Like, they know you're funny or whatever. They're like, yeah, I don't need to go see you funny on stage. Except for Keith. Keith has a huge draw with people that know him for some reason. Or maybe they just don't know him well enough. But that's what I've noticed is, like, you'll get a few people that are, like, just supportive just to be supportive because they're your friends. It's hard to, like, get people that you can't get, like, fans that way. You're not going to get a fan of, who's a friend that grew up with you. So,
and that's why I put my shit on YouTube. Yeah. And the only people that actually watch it are the people that follow me on Twitter, and that's mostly the Death Squad family. So I've never even got like a shitty like message on YouTube or a thumbs down yet.
Yeah,
like,
that's one thing.
Everyone's just been super supportive.
That's one thing I noticed during the 24-hour podcast. We didn't get any fucking prank calls. We didn't get any assholes. Like, out of 64 people that called in, you're like, no cunty people, and it's like that's a good sign, It's like, oh, we're talking to people that give a shit and that aren't trying to troll us,
It's pretty amazing. I think it's pretty amazing. Like, that 24-hour podcast was totally fucking crazy. Like that you could pull that off. I mean, everything you guys are doing, honestly, the whole collective concept and the people that are involved, and it's just a very, very smart approach. I just think it's a really good thing.
Well, it's
Congrats.
Not something that was like planned out. The intelligence that somehow comes along with it just hops along for the ride because I don't know. It's like let's figure out how to do this out and then see if it works, and then it does work, and then like, okay, cool, I can do more stuff. But it's weird. It's awesome how it's grown, and with the new website that's coming out in another week, that's going to be public anyway. That's going to be, I think it's going to be big. But Mitch Nutter, hiding from my wife, Mitch Nutter posted a picture just before we started that the 24-hour podcast that's on iTunes got the new and noteworthy category.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what category it's in, but I think comedy. But he posted it, and because it's got its own feed that we're gonna do. Yuck
cool.
and I are gonna get together and record a follow up for the person that we found to donate the money to. So.
Oh, cool.
Hopefully they're able to get some audio interview with who we got it, and yeah. So I don't know how soon we're gonna do that, because I know they're going out there. Somebody in New York, it's like a family, and one of the kids is a huge Rogan fan. So yeah, we're gonna see. Hopefully we'll get some audio and stuff like that. But I think they're going out there at some point. I don't know if they've gone out there yet to give it. We wanted to try and get them the money before Christmas. But yeah, it was fucking cool. And thank you, by the way, for calling in to that.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
I know how much you stress and hate and worry about coming on any of these shows because of how boring they are.
Me?
No,
I don't think
joking.
that.
I was like, whoa, it's getting really quiet.
That just got really dark really quick.
Yeah.
I thought it was just gonna be like, because you're a neurotic mess, clearly, and it was just like, because we're terrible.
We're
like,
horrible.
No.
I hate myself. Where's the razor blade?
I thought it was going to be something. I just, like usual, assumed it was going to be a negative swing
like
on me.
There is something wrong with this guy. Yeah. No.
You're all fine. You're all doing a fine job, gentlemen. Please relax.
Thank you.
At least all your episodes record.
Hey, I just started being a co-host, so don't lump me in with Ray.
Yeah. We were inspirational before on levels, apparently, but now that Keith is here, get ready for desperation and hopelessness.
Nice.
But at least venture into shit mountain.
That's what comedy needs. Honestly. A healthy dose of that.
Yeah. So you're liking the new studio then? And all that.
Yeah, I like it. I definitely I like it. I like the new network a lot too. The All Things Comedy. That's pretty dope, because it's essentially just a website. Like, everything's your own everything. Like, our feed, it's ours. You know, I can track it now. Like, I didn't have access to any of that shit. Like, looking up how many people watched or listened or where they're listening from. Like, on Vimeo, you could pull up a map and shit, and it's like, I never knew any of this. Like, people are listening in, like, fucking South Africa. That's fucking crazy. Or, like, Saudi Arabia. Like, what's going on up there?
It's like, wow, we got a few searches from Russia. I don't know if that's good or bad. Yeah. That's
so crazy to me. Like, what is happening?
It is cool.
So,
I mean,
I dig that element. But they're also brand new. So it's like, they have a page for comics, and, like, for a while they only had Sam up. Then they put up Teeb and Gareth. I'm like, where am I? Why am I getting left out? But, like, Teeb and Gareth have no information under their, like, it's just their name and their picture, like, their bio isn't up yet. And I'm like, oh my God, why is our cast, like, why aren't we up yet? Like, I always, you know what I mean? Like, like, can anything just smooth? Like, I'm begging the guy, like, can you get our shit up? But they did rotate the front of the website, so, like, our show was at the bottom, and now it's, like, at the top. So I'm like, maybe people will notice it, and we're right next to Bone Zone. Like, hey, remember us?
It's crazy. When that whole thing started, I thought, I was like, wow, that's really, like, that's basically what the IDC is. Everybody has their own shows. And, well, now it's going to be their own website. It was a page on my website. Now it's going to be their own website for all the different shows. And then the RSS feed for the thing. But it's like, why would you not do that idea? You know, I mean, it's like, you know, I don't know. When it all came about and everything started happening, it's like, why don't more people do this? You know, like, what if Red Band... You know, and Red Band's done a lot, but it's, you know, it's like if he had thought of setting Death Squad up like that, he'd still have all the shows, you know, and it would be, you know, but, you know, I don't know all the situations and all that, but, you know, but I also know, like, if I had the opportunity Red Band had when I started, I probably would have tried to do the same thing he's doing. But I didn't have access, like, everybody that I knew are in different parts of the world, so It's like this is the only way I can figure out how to put them all together.
Oh, right.
You know.
I gotcha.
Me and Ray have never met each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I live in Ohio.
Awesome.
Yeah, Keith's
I
in
know,
Ohio.
that's so crazy. No,
I'm in San
I
Diego.
know that. I know it's like an Ohio, San Diego scenario, and that's what's so fucking crazy. I know this lady, Susan Wegmans, lives in Michigan, and she's like a cuddler. She's a Walk in the Room fan.
Uh-huh.
So that's how I know her. And she does a podcast called Toggle the Switch with a guy in Australia. And it's like,
Nice.
I can't believe you guys can figure out how to do this shit.
No
I
shit.
have a degree in fucking production. I don't know how to do anything. I can pretty much anything that's like organizing, preparation, writing, research, producing, shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm golden. When it comes to setting up wires, like, if you ask me, like, you're really desperate. Like, that's a really, like, if all else fails, maybe I could fuck around for hours and figure it out. But my God, I just don't feel like it. Like, to me, like Red Band, it's like it comes naturally to him.
Yeah.
Right? It seems like it comes naturally to you. It seems like you guys just know what you're doing.
No.
Technically.
Well, here's the thing.
No.
I know where to search on Google to like. It's like I've been interested in this shit for a long time, so I knew like kind of the base knowledge of whatever, but I don't know how to fucking use a soundboard. Like, I'm figuring shit out as I go, you know. So the first episode was a lot different from this episode, you know, and hopefully it'll get better the longer it goes. But
There's only so many ways to do it wrong.
yeah, and I figured out a lot of them.
Before you find out how to do it right, that's
Yeah,
how I
yeah,
figure
yeah.
shit out. Just
Oh, man.
keep breaking into it and kicking it, and finally it works.
I'm just happy at the setup that I've gotten to right now because it's actually working. Every time before, like probably the last 15, 20 episodes before this, every episode I had to be so focused on everything that's running just because shit would just shut down. It would stop recording mid-episode. Fucking Ustream would have problems, like all these kinds of things. So it's hard to be focused on a conversation when I'm, you know, trying to make sure shit doesn't break. Now it's all set up to where I don't really have to worry about it. I've got tons of backup shit. Like I've recording stuffs, and like if video goes out, I'm okay with that. It's not like a huge visual podcast.
Is this the first one where we've had both of us on the whole time?
Well, except for the one, it was just you and me.
When I was just a guest.
Yeah. So, and now we're set for like multiple videos, so that'll be cool. But it's all, so it's like when people have other podcasts have problems, like you guys have been having problems, or other shows that are just, you know, like the BFDM guys that have been doing it for a while, but they're like, they try new shit. They're trying to do live stuff. And when they were starting their live stuff, they were having all kinds of problems, but it's fucking, anytime you start adding to the insanity of what a podcast is, it's right. You know, you're bound to have a lot of problems, and it's like a lot of stuff. It'll be something stops recording or something stops working, but it's not the same fix. That's where it even gets worse. It's like, last time this worked. Last time I just had to do this, but now I just keep ringing and I can't even hang up from the phone call. And now, yeah. So it's like shit is just, you never know with computers and all that kind of stuff. And it's a headache. It's a headache. That's why I drink and other things.
Right.
Yeah.
Other things.
Me too.
Other things. Yeah. I wish I did not have a day job. I really do. It's so fucking annoying. But whatever. I like to talk.
What's that like? No, I'm just...
Yeah. I've worked I'm a receptionist at a hair salon.
Well, at least you won't get any good material from that.
Yeah, none at all.
No. I'm sure, you know what? Even if you
and
do
it's not like I look fresh for every show or anything.
Yeah.
I get my hair cut once a week just because I'm bored.
Yeah, just something to do. I haven't gotten any hair on my head cut in like 4 months, 5 months. Far. Yeah, because that's so long ago. I have to combine for and far.
4 months.
4 months. 4 or 5.
I like that.
Yeah, so
Those
I don't.
are pretty far.
Pretty far. I know. That's why I emphasized it. I mean, you know, I know English, so that's how I use it. So what's what's good, right? With Freddie Lockhart, that's the name of the fucking.
Oh yeah.
Love the show.
That's fucking great. I mean, that is it. I swear, it's being involved in it is the exact opposite of being involved in the naughty show. It's like literally I show up, we bullshit, I leave. That's about it. I mean, I tweet for it, you know, like I do all the show's accounts. I'm assuming that's clear. Not for
No, I knew after you retweeted me that it was you.
What?
Freddie can spell. So you don't know who it is. You know Sam's not doing those naughty show tweets. Bro. You know he's not doing those naughty show tweets because they're fucking spelled properly. Oh my God, that guy. He tweets mistakes on the regular. It's so funny. I bust on him so bad about it all the time. But I love that guy. My God. But yeah, like Sam wants to run a circus. Freddie wants to hang out for an hour.
Yeah.
Talk about the fucking 80s and 90s. Talk about some rap. Talk about some bands.
No, I thought I knew trivia. I thought I was good at trivia until I watched that show. And Freddie is the trivia master.
No
Just
shit.
giving you
I was
guys some
getting
questions.
embarrassed, like, because you know what it was? Some of the shit, it's like I knew no questions. Like, I knew Knight Rider's car was Kit, but I didn't want to house all the questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I'm trying to play fair here. I'm trying to play fair. But then a question will come, like, I'm feeling like I'm throwing my competitor a bone or something, right? And then he'll ask about Charles in Charge's family last names.
Oh, God.
And it's like,
I was like, what?
I don't know. Like, why couldn't you ask me about the fucking? I know Growing Pains is the Seavers. Why aren't we talking about that right now? Like, he'll come up with some obscure thing. Like, fuck, man, Charles in Charge. I just don't remember anything about it except for Buddy.
Yeah.
I don't remember. So, yeah, like, oh man, he knows so much shit. Just so much pop culture. And I love that. I love talking about pop culture, but I love doing it in that context of like, this is really kind of a show about like hip hop and pot.
Yeah.
It's not just like, you know, a Nerdist type vibe, but we're talking about that same shit in a different way. So that's kind of cool.
Totally. And since they went to Toad Hop, I'm not a big fan of Toad Hop. And I don't know, do you guys have like audio breaks too?
Yeah, but since we're only an hour, so
Okay.
it's not as like it's not as bad as Punch Drunk. I think
There's
have
only
like
2 breaks in yours, right?
There's only 2 breaks.
Okay.
I don't know their intention with that. I don't know what they get out of it. I don't believe. I'll tell you right now. I don't get anything from it. I don't believe anyone does.
No.
That's on the shows.
Well, it's trying to make.
That's kind of weird.
It's like it's a radio format. So it's like they're trying to. I mean, it makes sense, you know, if you're gonna do a studio where you're producing a bunch of shit. It's easy to like, okay, what are previous audio recording formats, and let's just do that. So they're doing like,
Right.
you know, but it's like that's why I don't listen to the radio. There's reasons why I don't listen to the radio. There's reasons why I like podcasts.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more. And the more I see, I know what. How do I put it? I know what people are trying to do. They're trying to copy the radio, and it's like, you know what? You're copying a dead format. You're like point blank. You're copying a dead format. Just fucking. But at the same time, Toad Hop, it's like this crazy. It's the same thing. You walk into this building. It's the 5th floor of like an office building. So right off the bat, like just to park, it's like $14 to park because it's on Hollywood Boulevard. So now you take an elevator to the fucking 5th floor. It's this crazy modern looking office.
Yeah.
And it seems like the only thing going on is these podcasts. There must be more to it than that, but I don't see how this office is staying open. Like, I don't understand any of how this business is running because I have very little to do with it. I really just show up for, like, I always end up in these scenarios where I'm doing shit directly for the host and not the network. So it's like, I'll go wherever Sam goes. I'll go wherever Freddie goes because they're the guys that approached me. Like, I'm working for those 2 guys, whatever they want to do. It's really not my choice. So I'll go wherever they want. So it's pretty much like if Freddie's happy there, then I'll keep showing up there.
Yeah.
But it's not ideal in some ways, but in other ways, it's like you show up, everything's set up for you. Renee is the engineer guy is fucking awesome. We love him. so let's just roll with it.
Yeah, I mean,
At
they
least
totally
they get the shows out. They let him show up every week, and that was really the problem. There was he couldn't get into that Ice House studio.
Yeah.
On a regular basis, which
definitely...
again, I felt like that's someone I would not have let go. That's someone I would have made sure to get in every single week, because I think the audience really liked What's Good, and they really liked Freddie. And
yeah, I agree.
But
I used to tweet all the time. There needs to Red Band. He needs to get more What's Good in my life.
Yeah.
And I'd tweet Freddie and ask him when his show was going on, and he'd say, ask Red Band.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I get the fact that he wanted to do it weekly, and I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
You want to get your voice out there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and he tried to do it on his own for a while too. I remember that. I mean, I didn't.
Yeah,
that's the thing
that
with
was kind of weird.
With any of the Death Squad shows that leave. Like, there's always a gap. Like, I haven't since Bone Zone left. I maybe have listened to part of one, but it's like you get so used to finding. It's like, okay, I'm going to find the show here. Then when they leave, it's like, even though it would only take a few seconds in a Google search, I sometimes get lazy and don't want to do a fucking Google search. I'll just see what's on where the places I go check are, and then if there's nothing, then maybe I'll do Google. But so, and that's kind of what happened with Freddie Lockhart, because with that show, even it was hard keeping up just in general because he wasn't able to do it regularly. And then when he left, I mean, one, I'm not a huge fan of the Toad Hop thing. I totally get it. They got their shit together. They're, there's probably somebody with a lot of money investing in it, and they're the ones making them do this format. They're like, this is what works. I've been in radio, for X amount of years, and this is how radio works. And these are the best times to be getting advertisements out to our people, as these chunks of segments. But for me, as a listener, I'm not a fan of that, and and I'm not a fan of the shows that do, like Kevin Smith. I don't know if he still does them, the like 10-15 minute pre-recorded intros before every episode. It's like I don't like either of those, even though I can just fast forward. It's like, the less work I have to do, the more I'm going to enjoy. I do work all day. The last thing I want to do is do work to be entertained. So But it's one of those shows that I miss, and it's like I miss the Bone Zone, and I don't even know if they have video. I know they have the audio, but I haven't looked into video. And I don't
believe they do. I don't know for sure.
They have video, yeah.
See, and that's another show that fit the Death Squad. That was like the insanity of the Death Squad Studios was the Bone Zone, and.
I think something happened between Brendan and Redman.
I was just going to ask, like, what was said about why they left?
Well, because because Brendan, they didn't really say why, and he's still friends with Randy. But Brendan was originally supposed to come to do the mini Death Squad Ohio tour, and then Tom Segura took over for that, and it was right around then that the Bone Zone left. So I don't know what happened. I don't want to speculate, but I think something happened, because I don't think I've seen Brendan on any of the Ice House Chronicles or anything like that since.
Yeah, that's another show. I haven't fucking watched Ice House in way too long, man.
I feel like I've invested way too much time watching this shit.
Dude, that show is awesome.
I live 2,000 miles away, and I'm like, oh, man, I think there's some beef between two guys I don't know at all.
It's our fucking days of our lives.
Fucking ridiculous.
I just love to, I feel like I'm being like a tease or something, but you know what I mean? Like, because it's like, but I want to know what comes off. That's what I'm curious about. Like, what's the impression people are getting here? You know what I mean? Because
I don't talk to anyone. I don't talk to anyone else about this around here, so I don't know.
Right.
Everyone else I talk to is in different states too.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like every time there's some kind of change with Death Squad, there's always like a bubbling of like, ooh, maybe it was this, and it's like people going back through episodes like, well, maybe it was when they had this thing happening, or whatever.
Right.
But who
A lot of
knows?
people were like, "Oh, did you guys leave because of Podfest?" Like they thought they actually thought we left because Red Band was so drunk at the Podfest, and it's like, no.
Yeah, no.
And it also looked
Yeah.
like both shows left at once, which was just a coincidence. One had nothing to do with the other. It was completely
Yeah.
different
Well,
reasons.
when I think it was when Freddie went to Toad Hop, and I tweeted out, it's like, I wonder, it seems like Toad Hop seems to be poaching a lot of, because I think there was a few other shows. There was the Last Podcasting went there for a while,
Yes.
and then the Triple X Squad. It's like, it seemed like that was the destination for a lot. And then Ari and Sam and the team had talked about talking to Brian about doing Punch Drunk on the Death Squad network, but Brian's not a huge sports guy, so that's why they went to Toad Hop. But so it's like, but it seemed like that was the destination. If you can't work things out with Brian and Death Squad, then that's where you would be to Toad Hop. So I'm glad that, the Joint Studios is another place in LA where podcasts can hopefully go, and then also just the network that got set up with everybody's show, with Bill Burr and all that. That's was like, okay, that's the idea right there. And
yeah,
so,
it really is. And you know what? It's I mean, Dave Anthony talked about it on before we left. Because all right, I knew Walking the Room wanted a network, and I wanted Walking the Room to be on Death Squad. This is months and months ago,
Yeah.
And it didn't work out like that. And I kind of thought like, oh man, I really feel like they have the right, like Walking the Room really knows what they're doing, running shit, like all their website's fucking great, all their merch is great, like they just have really the right idea. I'm a big fan of theirs and their show. It's a little like, I did a lot of work for them at the beginning. I haven't been doing anything for them recently, but not because of any beef or anything. I'm just all consumed with this other shit,
Yeah.
and there's only so much content I can take, like to write all their shit down. It took a lot longer than it probably seems like it would, while you're trying to think of stuff for another show and do another podcast and do my own shit. But I do think they have like a great business model as far as podcasts go. So when they are the ones that tipped me off about this other network, and when that website launched the first day and I saw what they were doing with the calendar, the bios, like it's exactly what you need. It's everything you need. It's everything you need about the comics. And there's going to be, all the shows are different. There is really no common link except for, you could lump us together with Brendan and Ari and Christina and Tom because we all used to be on Death Squad, but a lot of these other shows we have no connection to, and now we'll all be able to guest on each other's shit and kind of promote each other's stuff. But it's good comics. Just I don't think it's the same podcast audiences at all. But everyone's
that's
good.
okay, because that's how you grow. I mean, that's the whole thing with a lot of the IDC podcasts is like there's a lot of different people, even though most of our audience is Death Squad, but it's still, instead of all of us competing within the same community, it's like we'll just let's bring them all together, and then we'll all just raise each other up. And, since we're all the same, audience, like even though all those shows are different, it's all comics, so you still have that whole, it's just a bigger genre because it's a lot bigger names. So, it's with something like that, it's, what do you have to lose, being a part?
It's literally like you have nothing to lose. It's not, it can't hurt you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a collective website.
Yeah.
It's not gonna bring you down at all. It can only help.
Yeah.
And they have shit going you wouldn't believe. People calling me up, like one guy called me up like he's the account executive for Us and Your Mom's House. Like they each like there's employees somehow, and like they're each assigned shows, and like the graphic art, like somebody made that for us. Like we didn't have to make it. Like people doing stuff for us. It's crazy. It's like so bizarre, But and they don't have they don't have a recording facility though. So it's like the joint studios is like they'll record it, but they have no network.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what they plan on doing, but right now it's it's not like our shit's getting posted on the joint studios at iTunes or something. Like they're just giving us the recording and sending us on our way. So it's
instead
kind of cool, but let's see what happens.
Everything under one roof, like that's like Brian likes to do. He records it, produces, releases it all under one roof. When you start spreading it out, like collectives are, the podcast, which I think Feral Audio is similar to, which Duncan's part of that, and I think Esther and Brody, or at least they were. It's like the collectives. It's like you're taking, instead of baking the whole cake, people are taking different layers of that cake and then spreading it out, and it makes it. I mean, one, you're helping with the work. So instead of one person doing all the work, you have everybody kind of doing their own thing, and it ends up in the one place. So it's interesting. It's an interesting thing that's happening because there's a lot of podcast networks before, with multiple shows that all produce in-house. And this is kind of, at least my experience with podcasts, this is kind of like the first time where you're seeing these groups coming together. And that's one of the reasons when I put together the new website, it's a social network. So it's where everybody that listens to all the IDC shows can go to see when, like, we're doing a show live, what our guest is. There's a link to the Death Squad so if you know any Death Squad comedians, Jill Himitsu on Twitter puts together, which I think she talked to you, a Death Squad calendar.
I talked to her and I never, I had set something up at one point. It was done on spec. That was like a Tumblr of, it was supposed to be everyone's date. So I was going to try to somehow link her to that, but I had made it off of an email that wasn't really my email. It was one of Brian's. So I just didn't know how to convert it over, but it looks like, honestly, it doesn't really seem like she needs it. She knows how to build it. Fucking the calendar better than I did.
With Google Calendar, so that is on the IDC. So for shows, it's going to be for any fans of any of the comics to kind of get together, like, setting up for like a Death Squad Ohio show where everybody can kind of forums, blogs. It's like bringing the whole community together. That's what the new Inspired Disorder Collective.com is going to be. So, and it's just, right now it's in private, and then it's going to be public on the 15th. But that's,
nice.
That's
bring some comics out here to Ohio. You need to get out here with Steve and Sam.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I know.
I guarantee a sold out Columbus, Dayton, and Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I guarantee those three towns sold out in Ohio.
Wow.
So,
yeah, Jason, No Susquehanna was telling me, Columbus, like probably go there first. He had set us up to talk to somebody, NAT or something, Promotions.
Okay.
Who I think had been helping some of the Death Squad shows. But that's another killer. I had tried to do this like live show in the Belly Room at the Comedy Store, and it's just so hard to launch anything, and like nobody was there. I mean, not literally, but I'm talking a handful of people were there, and a lot of them were just like my friends being nice, you know what I mean? And to go through something like that, and I'm thinking in my head, there's people in Ohio that would have actually enjoyed this. Like, there's probably there are people that would actually like to see me, and I'm struggling here to get anyone to show up for anything. That's hard.
That's why you got to go on the road. That's why they all say that the money's on the road. You're making
it really is.
Nothing for money, because there's so many comics out there that you go to these places where there's no comedy. Or there's, local comics, but, no one
Keith.
big.
When there's more than just Keith.
And then you got places like where I live where it's people that have been on stage 3 times that are...
Yeah.
I'm the only one bringing comedy, or not the only one. I should shout out my friend who set it up, Tom Warner. He set the first 2... The first show I did and this show I did up, and I set up the second one. So
Nice.
Good job, Keith.
Yeah, it's so hard. To me that's the hardest thing. Like I was trying for well, for like a year, I was helping my friend Tom Hensley run a show at M Bar called Sweet Sweet Stand Up, and he had always gotten really good comics, and how we were doing it was he knew a lot of like alt comics and a lot of people that were like in different friend circles than who I know, and I knew a lot of people from the Comedy Store and like then all the Death Squad people. Like that's who I would go after. So we kind of bring them together. And it'd be really great. But then his wife got pregnant. He was going to be a dad again for the second time. So, I mean, he's older, he's like 42 or something. So he had been doing stuff like this for years. And, so then I'm like, well, shit, if we're not doing this every month, it was kind of the same scenario where it's like I was guaranteed to do a set there. And I would always write new shit too. The same reason you were talking about, Keith. Like, it's the same crowd all the time. So it like forces you to deliver. I don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over for this one group of people. And so I didn't want that gone. So I tried to do it myself with Dave Anthony from Walk in the Room, which we were going to do. And then he went on tour with Drew Carey. Like, how the fuck what do you say to that? Like, oh, no, stay behind and do like my like rinky dink free show and don't go with Drew Carey. Like, obviously, I mean, it's a little validating. Like, well, at least I picked a good one.
Yeah.
at least I picked somebody fucking funny as fuck. I think Brendan went with them too. Brendan Walsh went with them to New Jersey, and I was like, damn it, all my guys, they're gonna be in they're gonna be in my home state. Damn it. But yeah, so it was really hard to get that going, and yeah, I definitely after the debacle of like no one coming and just everything you need. Like I needed artwork, and I had asked someone, and they kind of blew it off. Like, because I'm the queen of like I'll do favors for people, but it's so hard to get people to do favors for you when it's not for something cooler than my shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people come on the podcast and shit because that's worth it, but is doing my fucking artwork really going to be worth it? Probably not. Thanks. So, yeah, I made a decision, like, no more trying to run shows. I'll just get on. There's plenty here to go around. Like, for you, Keith, I would say definitely great idea. You're obviously fucking succeeding at it as well. Keep it up. Like, you're creating the scene there, and that's a good thing. I'm trying to create a scene where there's already a scene. So what the fuck am I doing? Why don't I just show up places and tell some jokes? What is wrong with me?
like Ohio. You show up in Ohio, like I said, you book 3 clubs, and that'll be worth the trip.
It would be so great. It would be so great. We're talking about trying to go next year. It's just like a matter of what the budget's going to be and who can go, because I would obviously not be top of the list, but if we could bring the 3 of, like, if Sam, Teeb, and I could all go, that would
be awesome.
Definitely be killer. That, because I believe they're the only ones that haven't been to that area yet. I think someone told me.
For the most part, like, they're 2 of the ones that I haven't seen. I haven't seen Ari, and I haven't seen Joe. But Joe's coming here in March.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
But the tickets are expensive as shit.
Oh, really?
But I get it, though. I think it's like him and Joey and Ari.
Probably either Ari or Duncan
or something. But it's like almost $50.
Wow, that's 3 people. That's going to pay 3 people. That's crazy, though. I mean, but that's another good bad scenario where it's like, there's a lot of competition here, but you can see anyone you want, and it's the most you're gonna get charged for a ticket here is like 20 or 25. There's just too much.
Some of the Ice House shows that Red Band's put on, the comics that are on there for $15 or whatever, and if you get the coupon code, it's like 2 for 1. Like, these are comics that I would pay $100 to see.
Yeah.
These 5 comics in one night before.
Okay.
Right.
let me tell you. I went down the last show I went to at the Ice House. It was Joey Diaz, Brian Redband, Bert Kreischer, Tom Segura, Duncan. That was the night Duncan Trussell and Brian Redband made up. Joe Rogan. I'm probably missing somebody. Brian Callen. I knocked a bunch of people off. It was like showing up to that. I was like, when they announced the lineup, I gotta go. And then Bert was a last minute addition. It's fucking amazing.
Man.
It was like, this is not fair. This is not fair. This is completely not fair. Sorry, Keith. Was not fair, but I experienced it and it was amazing. And that was one of my favorite. It's crazy seeing the show and then going to watch the Ice House Chronicles because it's like, which thing is more entertaining? You know, it's not like one is the special features to the other. They're both like independent things that happen at the same time. Fucking insane.
Right.
Well, plus
it is awesome. And
it would be fun to see, or know what they said once they came out of that back room.
Yes.
And then get to go back and watch it. Yeah. And then be like, oh, that's right when he walked out the door.
Yep.
So know everything that happened.
And they go on stage and they comment on the podcast that's going on too. So you get it on both ends. And I think Joe was actually talking about something that he ended up talking about on stage, which I had never heard him talk about before. And he got wasted on that show or drunk on that show. You could tell when he was on stage.
Well, Bert was there, so that usually.
Yeah. Well, man, it was awesome. And Bert has talked about performing at the Ice House, how he thought there was one of the first times, or probably the first time, and he thought there was a balcony. And then when you get in the room where they perform, when you get in the room they perform, it's like it's kind of low ceilings, but then there is a big rectangle just like in front of the stage that it's like he thought that was a balcony. Like that was hilarious. Like being able to see that kind of behind the scenes type of deal. It's awesome, man. Going up to the Ice House. I'm gonna miss it when I move.
Fuck you, Ray.
Yeah, where are you moving?
Probably gonna be moving to Portland next year, summertime.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so someplace I've always wanted to move, and San Diego is expensive, and it's way cheaper to live there. So
wow.
Because I really want to be able to quit my day job. So if I can start making enough money, not going to a day job for 40 hours of my week, getting thrown away to some other company making money, I try and do that. So we'll see. Things can change, but that's the plan right now.
Ray's plans are to start doing heroin and start a grunge band.
Yeah.
So
that's why I'm growing.
That's the place to be.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
I'm just a really big fan of Portlandia, so I just want to go there because that's where the '90s still live on. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I want to be.
Keep it going.
I want to get a road bike and probably deliver packages. I don't want to work for anybody. I just want to do it for fun because it'll help me get in shape, and I can get big plugs in my ears, and it'll be cool.
Shave that down to a goatee. You'd be all right.
Yeah. I'll just put a bird on it and make it good. Yeah.
I haven't watched the show that much, and that's the only reference I would have gotten from it. So
I'll just throw out as many references.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. It's the first time I watched it, I was like, and then after planning on moving there, I'm like, I should probably watch that show. And then watching it, I was like, okay, that's cool. I could
because that's exactly how people from Portland act.
Yeah.
That's a documentary show, I believe,
it is.
Right?
Yes.
Apparently Keith has not read the trades and seen what's going on. The wool has been pulled over somebody's eyes.
That circulates in Ohio.
Yeah. It circulates in San Diego too. Let me tell you. Yeah. No, it's just San Diego's. It's a bunch of either rich old people or college kids, and I can't stand the fucking college kids. And then the rich old people make me scared.
What about the cholos?
I don't care. The Mexicans in San Diego are like so third or fourth generation. They're just as, if not more, white than I am. In the desert where I grew up, there were cholos. Like I'm comfortable around cholos. The Mexicans I see in San Diego are like whitewashed, fucking, how you doing, buddy? Like, there's,
Right.
you know, they love NASCAR. They're Republicans. It's like, who the fuck are you? You know, so it's not that at all. It's just the fucking, you know, sorority and fraternity people that go to these college bars like PB, and then also, you know, just the rich old people that don't like medical marijuana and want to shut everything down. So, you know, not that would affect me personally, because I could get fired for doing anything illegal or
LA
federally.
LA
Speed Week. Yeah. Shout out to. See, that's why I hate fucking LA, but I wish I lived there for certain reasons.
Oh, I totally get it. Well, I mean, I live in Simi, so like Simi Valley, so I'm not living in the crazy. I'm just right
on the edge
past.
of it.
I'm right on the edge. Like it is total suburbia where I live. Like everyone has driveways. Like there's no pay to park anywhere. It's just strip malls. It's just like, you know, like it would have been in New Jersey or something. And then but a short freeway ride away, it's fucking chaos. And I like being close enough, but I don't want to live it every second.
Yeah.
Every day. I really don't want to do that. But it's just weird. It's very, very different here than the East Coast. But I'm sure everyone points that out constantly.
Yeah. LA is different from like 30 minutes away from LA. Like LA is kind of a chasm of itself.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I kind of dig what goes on here.
Yeah.
So everything else, it's like I'll tolerate it. You know, I'll fucking tolerate it to be around the people that I want to be around and do the shit I want to do. And I love the weather. That's a good one.
Yeah,
but,
I want to ask, how warm is it right now where you guys are at? Either of you?
Oh,
you know, it's so funny. Matt from BFDM podcast, he's from Minnesota. He texted me a picture right before we started, and is out. I think it was Matt, anyways, Matt or Jason. And they texted me a picture out of their garage, and they have like 14 inches of snow and counting.
Oh my god!
And he's like, "How's the weather in San Diego?" And I sent him a picture back, and I feel, you know, I don't feel he understands how horrible it is in San Diego. We might have rain on Thursday, okay? You understand that water is going to fall out of the sky on Thursday? People don't know how to drive. I could get killed on my way to work because people don't know how to drive in the rain. But it's like,
it might be drizzling.
Yeah, oh my, it's so funny. Go to, if you live in Southern California and you want to laugh, go to any parking lot of any like store or mall and watch all the people fucking bolt. They fucking run no matter how much rain. It could be drizzling mist. They will be like tornado weather precautions running into the door. It's fucking hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like 50
I swear
degrees.
there was a thunderstorm here a few weeks ago, and a few weeks ago in October, and it rained for literally 5 minutes. In that 5 minutes, there was lightning, one strike of lightning, and it hit. Out of anything, it hit some kind of transformer that it was our power grid, like for our street. So we lost power for about 18 to 20 hours because it rained 5 minutes and no one knew what to do. Like lightning hit something and it was like, oh my God, what do we do? It just stopped working. And it's like, you know,
I heard about
this
that.
would happen every few weeks.
That's like, I think Jerry Bruckheimer produced that storm. So dramatic and showy. Yeah.
It was ridiculous. And it was the day before the fucking podcast festival. And I'm like, you know, I need to do shit. I need power right now. I mean, I guess I could go to a laundromat, but what the fuck?
Yeah,
like, I have to wash my clothes. Like, God forbid I leave the house and, like, just go find a different way to do the shit, right?
It's horrible.
But, like, I was sitting in my car, charging my phone, like, oh, my internet. What do I do?
We should have done a 24-hour podcast to help support all the victims in L.A. that were affected by that power outage.
By that small gap of power. Yeah, and it was only, like, 2 or 3 weeks later that, like, that Hurricane Sandy happened, and it's like, wow. I feel like an asshole because these people are going to be without powers for like 2 weeks. And that day I was just every fucking hour I would tweet like from the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Power's still out, people. What am I gonna do? Like, I'm the only one affected by it. Like, it was just me and my neighbors, and I hope they don't follow me. I hope they don't follow me on Twitter.
Not on Twitter,
because
just
that's
in
always
real
a weird
life.
thing.
Yeah. No, they just stalk you in real life. They don't follow you on Twitter. The old school.
Oh,
follow.
guys, this was so crazy. Okay, so yesterday was my husband's office Christmas party. Like, he's an electrician. And so they do lighting maintenance, like guys that drive, bucket trucks and work on parking lot lights. So there was a guy there, Jose, that he works with my husband, and he listens to the podcasts. And it was so crazy because he kept calling me powerful Vicky Pezza. It was so weird. Like it's like the least likely place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, oh my God, you listen. That's so crazy. Like, you're aware of it. And like my other friend Carl that was there, like, he listens, and like we're on the elevator at one point later in the night, and like the two of them were like talking about Ari. And I'm just listening, like, oh my God.
That's so crazy.
Like,
yeah.
You know these people.
Yeah, that if people started talking about Death Squad or my shows at work, I'd be, what the fuck is going on? That's not okay. You should not be listening to any of those. You cannot know.
Right.
It's just because I want to be so separated from it. But if I didn't, I'd be like, what the fuck? Because it's spread out everywhere. So it's like, who knows what the concentration of your listeners are? Well, I mean, you can kind of figure it out, but still, it's weird running into people that would ever listen. And
it's so crazy.
Not necessarily as much in your area, just because it's LA. So who knows what? But for me,
right, and these guys are all like Orange County guys, but they are outside. Like, everyone works alone all day long. So if, rather than listen to music every day, all day, that's how they start discovering podcasts. And it's just weird because it's like they're not listening to it because their friend's wife is on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they didn't find it the opposite way.
Yeah.
Which is weird too. Like, I don't, and this guy from back home that I knew, like, that I used to work with on the boardwalk, like, he like wrote me on Facebook and was like, I heard you on Death Squad. That's so cool. And it's like, oh my God, like, how are you aware of this? That's so like people from other walks of life, like, yeah. I don't know. It's just so crazy to me, but I guess that's the whole point, right? That's why we're doing.
Yeah. But it's crazy because it's a blind audience. Like, if you're a comic, you can see your audience and maybe you'll recognize a face. But it's like, you don't know who you get a number. Well, who knows what that number even means, but you get a number, so you know people are listening. So when you see or you run into somebody outside of your, where you wouldn't expect somebody to know who the fuck you are, just like, what? Or just, what you're doing. It's weird to see your numbers in real life.
Yeah.
Not that I have ever, but...
it's just a crazy thing. Like, oh my God. And then it's like, well, are you okay with this? Because then I'll start to think like, oh God, what do I talk about? What did I say? Am I saying anything private or personal? Thinking, like you said, like, I'm just talking to nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about like, what if this like specific people in my life listen, or I'll drive myself crazy. I think about that with Twitter sometimes. Like, I'll tweet something. If you start actually thinking like specific people who follow you, that makes me nervous. It's like I want an audience so I could be afraid or something. I don't know I have a lot of.
I think you just
there's
like
levels
being
of
afraid.
Issues going on.
Yeah. Well, at least you always go to the dark, bad place. It's like, what's the worst part of this thing happening?
Right. Yeah. Like, what if if there's one person that doesn't like me, I get so mad. Like, why are you telling me? Why are you tweeting me you don't like me? Keep it to yourself, asshole. Block. But then, oh my God. Well, okay, one guy one time tweeted me something, and I didn't even publicize it. Like, sometimes people like retweet, and I've done that too, where I'll retweet like a hate tweet just to.
I know what this one's about.
Yeah, it's like this dude, right? Who like I've never had any contact with whatsoever, and And he basically tweets me and he says, if you really want to help the show, don't be on it, which is like, go fuck yourself. Like, who would say that?
Yeah.
Like, is chivalry dead? Can we just at least pretend like, yes, I'm all for being equal, but can you be a little more polite to me? I'm a classy lady. So, so not true. As I'm like chain smoking cigarettes here.
Yeah.
I can't even be on camera because I look like such shit.
Taking pictures of other girls' pussies on other podcasts.
They were classy pictures.
These are all classy things. So like I didn't do anything like retweet or do the thing where you put the period in front of it so everyone could see. I just wrote back to him and I was just like, because he also tweeted Sam, which you have to think how fucking crazy that is. In any other scenario, if I were to not like something one of you guys did, to actually go and contact your boss, because that's basically what you're doing to me. And it was right after the Chris Gore episode where he said he did the stand-up, the woman in the audience didn't like it and contacted G4. So we were coming right off an episode where we talked about how this is like a dick thing to do. So I just said back one sarcastic thing directly to him and ended it. But then I ended up blocking him because he just started tweeting me a million things. And it's like, oh, it looks like I hit a sore spot. And it's like, well, you're the one tweeting me 10 fucking times. And I tweeted you once. And you sought me out. So who's hitting a sore spot? I think it's because I used the word virgin. And that's always ouch.
We all came to your defense, too. There was
everyone fighting with this guy, and then it's like, so even though I block him, it's like I'm getting all these acts of like, and it's all positive shit. Yeah. But it's like, oh my god, I didn't even like out this guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I just answered him, and like this happened. So it's always I
unfollowed that kid right after that just because.
Dude, I want to know who this is, but I don't even want to say their name on the podcast.
No, I know their Twitter name because I remember it from that.
Well,
just because
DM me right now. DM me who it is.
I looked, and this is where it's going to take a turn because of course I want to be nasty and mean about it, but then I looked up the person's Facebook just to see who I was talking to, because I had no idea who this was. And it's like, oh my God, this is a child. Like, this is a legitimate child. This kid's 17 or 18 years old. Yeah. He's a fucking kid. I'm a grown woman. Am I really gonna take this kid to task? It's obvious you haven't had that much experience dealing with the ladies if you think this was a good idea, because all these dudes, like you did, you really did. Everybody was like, I like Vicky, It's like, come on, I don't get involved that much where I'm like ruining it. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think you've ever really ruined a podcast.
The whole show.
Yeah, you're like, I sit off camera sometimes, motherfucker. So
I wasn't even in frame. I don't even think my mic was on half the time at Death Squad, so I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, it's really not that big of a deal. And like, I'm sure plenty of the episodes that you liked, I got those people to come on. But it's just crazy to like actually take it that far of like, I'm going to contact Sam Tripoli to let him know that me, a child with 30 followers, doesn't approve of this girl. Yeah. And I, of course, like, we all call each other and shit. Like, anytime there's anything like that, it's like, you guys do know, like, we talk to each other in real life. So I'm telling Sam, like, can you believe, like, this person tweeted you? And then he's like, he's like, Vicky, honestly, who gives a shit? He's like, what do you think? I'm going to read this tweet and be like, oh my God, you're right, she's fired? He's like, I don't give a shit. He's like, you know how much hate I get? And it's like, no, I don't, because I'm right at a level where I'll get a hate thing maybe once every 4 to 6 months. Yeah. And that's like, oh my God, someone doesn't like me. Fuck. I got to get over that. Yeah. So, but man,
I wish someone would tell me that my comedy sucks.
I'll set that up.
Nobody said it yet. I wish someone would just post that shit on YouTube. I want to get one of those. I'm pretty sure. I watched your 10 minutes. This shit sucked ass.
I'm pretty sure the team would not recommend you calling out a troll, like requesting to have a troll. That would be another on his not to do. Like, just put a shotgun in your mouth.
I gotta get
Don't
over
post
the
your
first
video.
Time that it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So let's
just let it naturally happen. It will happen. Let me tell you.
My address is one of the last shows, so fuck
That's
it.
true. The new Doug Stanhope.
What's your advice? Kill yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, detailed of how you should do it. Use a shotgun. This is what the metal feels like in your mouth. This is how you're gonna curl your toe to pull the trigger. Yeah, no, it was really detailed advice. Um, so right before he was going on stage. So I don't know. At the comedy
Right,
store.
yeah.
Yeah, it was 1 week before my
Own
show.
shit there. I don't know. Might be working out his own shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's so fucking funny, that guy. Oh my god.
That was awesome.
The episode that got cut off because Ashley Fires was naked. He left the room at one point, and when he came, I'm just gonna spoil this one little thing because if you see it, you'll just anticipate it anyway. If it actually gets like released, it's she gave him her panties. And I think he talked about that on the show. And then, so he was sniffing her panties because it was a part of some conversation they had. And then he left the room. And of course, that just leaves it open for like, oh, what's he doing? Oh, he couldn't take it. He had to leave the room a minute. Oh, what's going on? He walked back in with the panties on his head, with his pockets out of his pants, and with his dick and balls hanging out. Just flat out. Dick and balls just hanging out, where it takes you a second to realize they are, because he's fully clothed, but that's just hanging out. So it's like he walks in and you're like looking at the panties on his head laughing, and then
the Elephant Man,
like, holy fuck. Like, you just totally did this. He just has
it seems like the T likes to take his clothes off a lot.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely like it almost seems like it's become like a requirement now, and the more it's expected of him to do, the more nervous it makes him doing it, you know. Like where the last Naughty show, he's like the live one, because he does a thing at the end. I'm sure you've seen pictures of him with like a sock on his dick and stuff, and the last one he's just like, oh man, like it's so funny because it's like that's probably so much more pressure to him than to just go out and do like 20 minutes. He could probably do that, no problem. Teed fucking kills. His stand-up's really fucking funny.
That's one guy really I haven't seen yet, which I think he's coming out to San Diego for the 12-12-12 show. I think he said that he was coming out. So hopefully I'll be able to see him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I liked his little YouTube short, The Medics.
Yeah, me too. I saw that.
I liked that. I thought that was pretty funny.
Great.
We didn't get a chance to talk about that with him, but
yeah,
I did like that.
He's funny, man, and he can act.
Really? Well, he's good. I mean, he's fucking funny. Quick wit, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, all these guys are just it's just swimming in a sea of pros. You know what I'm saying? They're just professional. They're just so quick and on all the fucking time, and they are so good. You know, I just feel really lucky to even get to fucking hang out with these guys.
Well, you add a lot to the chaos of that show. I mean, just trying to help plan it out and, you know, get some structure to the chaos, which, you know, is good. Because last time you were on, I asked how you describe your show, and how I describe it was like kind of like almost a late night, like a Conan, but not. You know, it's like kind of a very loosely similar type of thing where you were starting to intro, like you had intros, then you would intro the guest, and then they would come on, and then they would just be the show. So it's kind of like a mix of the structure almost of, you know, having a first part and then the next part, but then podcast style. It's Naughty Show podcast style, the insanity of that. So and now that you're at the new studio, it seems like that too. Because one of the last shows, you like had your guests waiting outside of the room. It seems like
they don't have to be on the couch in the room anymore. So it's like they're right there, or they're sitting at the table just being quiet. You know, that's always an awkward real life scenario of like you have this person waiting for a minute. But now at least they're in a room where they're watching it happen, but they're not. Yeah, we can't see them watching it. And they'll a little bit later. So like sometimes at the beginning, like they'll call me, like they just showed up right when we're starting. So like I just won't be on at the beginning for a second because I'll be like letting someone in, explaining like we'll get you in a minute. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I think it's going to turn more late nighty when the bigger studio becomes more functional.
Sweet.
Like it might be. I don't know exactly what we're gonna do, but it'll be something on a grander production scale. I do know that, but
do you know when that's gonna, like, when you're gonna start using that other room?
no, I think they wanted to get it going by. I know they needed a bunch of shit done before December 1st. So I don't know if they used that for something else that we just weren't privy to. But it's coming along way quicker than I expected it to. I will say that. So like every time we go in, it's like something fucking new. So I'm sure that'll get off the ground sooner or later. Like there's going to be like a poll. You know, there's always got to be a poll.
No poll at the Naughty Show.
Oh my God, no, yeah. So, you know, I can't wait to see where it ends up going or what our capabilities are. But we're definitely going to have more structure, like segments and like we're going to want to hit marks at certain times and things like that. But we'll see how tight you could plan all you want.
Yeah.
Are we going to run it that tight? Is it going to go that way?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. And then you'll get stressed out and think it's all going to crash and burn. Yeah.
That's every week. That's every week.
Yeah.
Like I'll probably hang up with you guys and I'll be, because I've legit been like bumming around since we stayed overnight like at a hotel. So when we got back, like I was sick all morning and I've just, you know, I finally could eat something around 3 or 4 and then I fell asleep for a while. So now after we hang up, it'll be like, all right, let me do research on the guests because we're still doing a regular episode tomorrow because we have it booked. So
yeah, we
got to do the roast early. This
oh yeah,
great.
So
this is going to be awesome.
So you're doing both tomorrow then? You're doing the Santa Claus and your show too?
Yeah, we're going to episode 100 will be at 7 and then we'll record the regular episode for Monday at 9. So we did it like that so that we wouldn't have to change anything for the people booked and push everything back. So we're just going to try to get what we can. I figure people just want to see a semblance of a roast here. They want to see everyone go after each other, and it sucks because you're going to know that some of this shit was heard by the people in the room, but I'm sure we're going to discuss that too, and I'm sure that's going to come up, and I'm sure there'll be jokes at the studio's expense because of it. Sorry, fellas.
No.
But
I'm excited. It'll be interesting to see.
I mean, what do you guys think? Like, it's better to have it than not have it, right? Like, it's better to recreate it than to never get to see it, right? I mean, did I make the right choice here? I feel like I did.
Yeah, I think everyone at least wants to watch it because that was, like you said before, one of the ones from earlier Naughty Show that I loved. I mean, the whole well written.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying that shit for weeks after I saw that.
Yeah. And even Gareth, like, because Gareth was there and he was saying, like, he's like, I can't wait to hear well written tonight. He's like, I can't wait. Because everyone knows about that, you know? And, And he started doing the whole thing, too, where he was doing, like, the Santa voice the whole time. And Garrett's like, you really going to keep this going? Because our intro was long. Like, he was just, like, it was just like a regular episode, but he's talking like that about current events and shit. And it's like, what is happening right now? And, like, we lost all of that. And it's like, no. So this time I'm going to be like, let's get right to the roast, people. Let's just do the roast. That's what they want. Like, any extras we'll throw in episode 101. We'll be recording that next. So we'll save it for then. Let's get to the roast.
And at least it's like, at least you're not trying to recreate a podcast like where you just had a conversation with a guest. It's like, it is kind of written, you know? I mean, everybody has written jokes and, you know, everybody's a comedian, so it's not the first time they said something funny again.
Right.
Yeah, so
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, so it's like, it's not that bad. If it was any other kind of podcast situation where it's like, oh, they just missed, like if that episode of Steve Renazizi didn't come out, there's no way you could recreate that. And even if you tried, it wouldn't work. But with this, it's, you know, there's probably, it's going to have a different flavor to it, but it's going to be the same thing that everybody was looking forward to.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, we like that was my whole thing is the audience did not hear one of these jokes. Because even it's like we leave the studio and like there was a Death Squad podcast recording at the Comedy Store like the same night, and Willie Hunter, I don't know if you guys know him from What's Good. he had a show even later at the Comedy Store, like at 11. So it's like by the time we left Joint Studios in Burbank and went to Hollywood to the Comedy Store, like people at the store had already heard jokes at their expense. You know, people that weren't there but that we still talked about had already heard about it.
Yeah.
And it's like that had only been an hour. So my immediate reaction to it's lost was just like, well, fuck, now we're fucked. It's over. But then I'm like, yeah, but so what? They didn't hear it. Nobody got to watch it. The audience doesn't know. And really, the 100th episode's for the audience. It's not. We're not doing this for us. Or why record it ever? You know what I mean? Why bother? Why even put it out? So I just figured all we really have to do is reread what's on a piece of paper like we did the first time, and then everyone gets to experience it. Let's just fucking go for it. And my whole thing was, look, we look stupid either way. There's no way to come out of this not looking like idiots. Yeah. Either we don't deliver an episode or we have to cop to the fact it was lost. We got to explain ourselves after you tweet all day to watch something and then you can't, you know?
Yeah.
Somebody needs answers. So like usual, we just wait days and days to decide what the explanation is. And
So how many different versions of the recording are you going to start just as backups? Like how many backups of the recording are you going to have?
Oh my God, they already had a bunch. Now what they had to get now is a DVD burner. Like they have like 3 or 4 different things going now. The backup thing that they ordered, which would have been like their 3rd thing, I believe, was supposed to be in and installed before Monday. And it showed up on like Wednesday, and like they sent us pictures of it, and I was like, oh fuck, like well, great. Well, at least... now all we need is a time machine. I think that's what the guy said too. Like now all I need is a time machine. Like you got it, bro. But you know, better late than never, I guess. At least I didn't throw the paper. You know, I didn't delete the joke, so we got.
Yeah. Now about your jokes. About your jokes, when you do like a stage thing, do you write out all of your jokes and then try to say them verbatim, like learn them and then try?
Yeah, that's a great question. I wanted to talk about it before when you had mentioned it. Everyone I know does it differently, so there's no right way to do it. I had asked a lot of people this question. The way I do it, I write every single word out. I write out every word. I write out pauses or ... to cue myself. I'll write in italics or bold so that I know how I want to say it. I write out every fucking thing I'm going to do. And then I record myself reading it to time it. And then I play that recording to myself to memorize it. This is how fucking crazy I am. So if anyone, my biggest fear of losing my phone isn't like there's nothing dirty of me on it or anything personal. It's that people would find videos of me talking to myself doing my act. That's embarrassing. Like I don't want anyone to know, yet I'm telling it.
So you do videos or audio on your phone?
I just literally like flip the thing, and I don't hold it so that like I'm in frame perfectly, but I'll just record myself like video, just reading the shit the way I want it. Like ideally, if I was allowed to read this or had a teleprompter, this is everything I would want to say. Yeah. Every single thing. But I mean, look, I don't know for anyone else. I can't think of one time where I hit every single thing. I always forget a joke. Like there'll be like there's this whole thing I do about The Lion King. My husband never saw the movie The Lion King, and I'm talking about how crazy that is. I'm just making fun of him. And then there was a joke in there about like James Earl Jones doing the voice or something. It's like this one joke. I would always fucking miss it. I would always forget it. Because I'd remember the premise, but it's hard to remember every joke in the premise. And that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
One time I forgot something so major that when I hit the punchline and people laughed afterwards, I thought, what the fuck were they laughing about? I left out a major piece of what made that joke funny. And I think they're just, they're laughing at something else, or it wasn't what I meant to be funny because I missed a huge cue, but they don't know. They don't know what my intentions were. So I guess it's all right.
Yeah. I would say what I've done, at least so far, is I will write out probably my main joke of my set, and I will write it out loosely once, and I'll read it a bunch just to get the story ingrained in my head. But
Right.
honestly, what I say on stage, I would say is 75% improv,
Right.
25%, maybe what I wrote exactly. Maybe even tilted more towards like 85%.
But you
Right.
know the stories because it's like stories that actually happened. So you do have
Yeah,
memory.
I tell a lot of stories that really happened to me.
Yeah.
Right. And
Like
I
that.
like that, by the way. That's always my favorite type of stuff. Is
Well,
just
yeah,
real
mine
things
too.
that happen. Yeah.
I don't really like crowd work. I don't like shit like that. So for me, I always try to really just go with the flow. Like the more organic it seems to the audience, the more they'll be with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I agree. And I
So
know a lot of people that do it like the way you're talking about, because I had like before I even got on the stage, like I would always talk to Greg Barrett about like how does he do it and how do the other people do it, like the writing process. And he's the same way where he comes up with ideas and he'll have more like bullet points and just fucking work off of those. And I guess the thing is, like, he's a very, like, to me is one of the funniest comics I've seen. I love him. He's hilarious. He's very natural. He's a natural performer. I'm a better writer than I am a performer. Like, that's just being honest. Like, I'm a very, very good writer. So it's all about if I could nail the writing part and then just remember it. Like, if I could just remember the way I want to word it, I think it'll make the performance stronger because I am just not. I mean, it's like everything else I do. I'm just not good at winging it. I need to be overly prepared, but that has backfired on me. I did a show at Flappers one time, and it was a contest scenario, which right off the bat I should have known. Like, fuck, like I don't want to compete with I don't look at it like that, and I should have never been in the scenario.
who's to say whose comedy is better than someone
Right.
else's? Like, it's all subjective anyway.
The voting audience, which is totally
Yeah.
skewed by how many people you bring, like usual. It's you know what I mean. It's like the audience is voting for their friends.
Clap-o-meter? Was it the clap-o-meter?
Yeah.
No, thank God, no. Oh, I wouldn't have even wanted to see where I fell. No, it was just voting on a piece of paper. But yeah, like so I get up there and it was all new shit, which again, fucking horrible idea, idiot. It's a contest. Just go in with what's strong already. It's not like I have this huge catalog of material, but it was like I was writing new shit every time I had a show. So I got on stage, and when I moved in one direction, I got feedback off the mic, and that was the end of me. I'm telling you, that threw me. That one little thing threw my whole concentration so bad that it's not like I shut down or cried or ran away. I mean, I went through the whole set. It was fine, but it was definitely like, to me, that was my worst ever. That was the worst thing that happened ever. Because as I was up there, and that was the same night too that I forgot like the major detail that would have rendered the punchline useless. Like, because it was like that distracted me so bad. It took me out of the act, and I can't leave the act. I just can't leave it. I'm still that person. I can't.
Did you acknowledge it?
I didn't even. I acknowledged it with a facial expression, but I should have went into it more. You understand?
See,
like
I did it in my second act I ever did. Like I went to do like a death metal growl into it because it was part of the joke, and it just fed back immediately, like squealed right in my face, and I just had to stop and go. Except it didn't squeal like that, and
right.
then
I think I saw that.
And then I just kept going on with I mean, it threw me off for a second, but it was like, oh shit, every time I get up there, I swear to God, I black out.
Because it's the weirdest feeling. Time just moves so weird.
After,
you know what I mean?
Your brain, you're in your head, you're thinking of 5 sentences ahead while you're speaking and having to deal with real-time crowd reaction
Right.
at the same time. So my brain's, gonna explode up there because I'm trying to think of what I'm gonna say next, but at any point in time, someone could just yell something out, and then I have to deal with that and then go back to what I was trying to say. And again,
Right.
I'm usually pretty baked when I get up there anyway.
You need some
It
alpha
helps
brain.
and hurts.
Right. I'm usually not. See, that's another thing I have a conflict with. I usually perform straight laced, like not stoned. I mean, usually it's like I have my first beer of the night when I go up there. So that's like I have my beer, I have something to drink, but it's my first one because I get to beer too. That's a whole other story.
No, my
It's a whole other story.
second show, I drank. I opened up my 4th beer when I got on for my first set of the night,
Wow.
and I even after that have told all my friends, I'm like, yeah, I drank one too many beers at least before I did that, and then because I drank the one on stage, and then I drank one we had like a half-hour break, and then I came back on and did that second set. So I was 6 beers in, doing my 3rd set ever, second set of the night, which
Wow.
fucked me up. But like, I actually did decent. But I know that when I get drunk, I slur real easy. Like
Right.
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah.
Shit.
Slur like easily.
I start, like, losing shit.
Yeah. Fuck, man. Well, we're at about 2 hours, guys. We should
Jesus
wrap it
Christ.
up. No, he did not make it to the show tonight, but thank you for giving him a shout out. So, Vicky, where can everybody find you and all the shows that you're on and produce and all that stuff?
Okay, I would say the best way to go, follow me on Twitter at Vicky Pezza, Vicky with a Y. We're going to have a new website out, so this is exciting. It's going to be naughtymerch.com. It should be opening by the new year. The guy, J.R. Steiner, he is a designer from Arizona. He does Brody Stevens shirts and Joey Diaz's shirts. He is starting to do our shirts right now. So we're going to have like merch that we had shirts made and we put them on Sam's website, and it just, you know how it is with these websites. Like, you're going to order a shirt, you want it to look a certain way. You want it to look fucking official. And I really had no control over what was happening with that until No Susquehanna DM'd me one day and said, hey, any news on when the shirts are coming out? I ordered mine 8 weeks ago. And I was like, what? Like, just furious. Like, what you ordered? Like, you've been waiting 2 months. So I had to like go physically get the shirt from Sam and mail it to Jason myself. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's I love Sam to death. Let's not have him run the operation. How about that? Let's definitely trust other people to do that. So this guy, he's doing everything. The orders will go right to him. He's going to send them out with like a reasonable turnaround time. And like it's working the opposite. So pretty much it's just going to be like, instead of us putting tons of money out to invest in this thing, this guy is going to be cutting us money after it's all said and done. Sweet. Which is amazing for us. And this guy, I really trust him. He does really good work. So he's building that site right now. So naughtymerch.com. You can follow the shows at Naughty Show and at What's Good Pod. And check that out. Mondays, Naughty Shows Mondays at 9 p.m. Pacific. This week we'll have the 100th roast, 7. This will probably come out after. I don't know.
It'll be up in
maybe
like
it's
an
up
hour.
already. Maybe it's up already, depending when you're listening. Yeah. And What's Good is 6 p.m. Pacific time on ToadHopNetwork.com. You got both things at iTunes. Just make sure the Naughty Show is the most recent feed. It should be a red picture that says a little ATC logo. Oh, go to allthingscomedy.com. There you go. You can find everything in a nice orderly fashion.
There you go. Keith.
20 ways. Here we go.
Yeah. Keith, where can everybody find you online?
At Keith Spurlock 1, KEITH SPURLOCK 1, and you can check my videos out on YouTube. Subscribe to my page. Like it, don't like it. I don't give a fuck. Just tell me what you think. And because literally it's my 4th set ever, which would be the latest one up. So if you don't like it, eat a dick. And let me see your best set.
Yeah.
Before you can judge mine. So
There you go.
And where are you on YouTube? Just search your name.
Yeah, I think it's almost impossible to find on there. There's 10 billion videos, but
Yeah.
I guess if you type in my name, it might show up.
We'll get that sorted out. We'll get it easier.
Ray will put up a link.
I'll figure something
soon.
out. Yeah.
I don't know how to work computers.
That's what I'm here for, I guess. At Ray Taylor, InspiredDisorder.com, and soon InspiredDisorderCollective.com, which will be going public on the 15th of December.
Nice.
Buy your stocks now.
Buy your stocks now, yeah. Let me go find some stocks to sell people, and then we'll make that happen. So anyway, thank you, Vicky, for coming on. It's another awesome show.
you.
You can stay on after
much.
the outro if you want, unless you need to get going. But
Sure, no, I'll say bye in a private setting.
Okay. All right, everybody.
Intimate.
Inspired Disorder Podcast After Dark. All right, peace out.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Inspired Disorder Podcast. Embedded signals within this podcast have reprogrammed your natural thinking patterns. Side effects may include lack of inhibitions, erectile dysfunction, anal leakage, transcendental communication with beings from 4 of the 7 primary dimensions. In the event of a tear in space-time, please keep your hands down and feet together. Any loss of life or limbs due to interdimensional travel is not the responsibility of this podcast.